Welcome to Gucci Turban. I know you missed us. It's been quite a 4 days. I'm Nimesh Patel. This is Asif. We're here doing a postmortem of the election. RIP to hearing about any other news for the rest of the next 4 years. RIP to vaccines. Shout out RFK running healthcare with a brainworm. RIP to the EPA, the Department of Education. Overdraft fees are coming back for sure. Right? Oh, yeah. RIP to a lot of stuff. Man, it's going to be a long 4 years, guys. Listen, if you're free January 6th, I have an awesome bus trip planned to Washington, D.C. Chartering a bus. Let's go show these people how a Capitol is really stormed. Asif?
It's awesome that we learn from our mistakes, guys.
I mean, come on. What's more American than not learning from your mistakes?
It's a worldwide issue, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, people like Trump are winning in Italy, I think, just elected a super far-right government.
Yeah, that lady that makes faces all the time. Like she does the Donald Trump with the facially. Maloney.
No, I don't.
Georgia Maloney, that's her name, I believe.
I frankly don't care about any other country, so you're probably right. Xi Jinping won yet another term.
Yeah, there we go. I got it right. This lady, her whole thing is just being a fascist and making faces. That's it.
Italy PM urges EU to focus. Yeah, all right. Okay, what else? Yeah, all right. So, Asif, I know you've got a lot on your brain. You were in the Bahamas the night of the election. What was that like?
It was a poor choice because the Bahamas is filled with like TRT Trump, old middle-aged white guys who like Trump. They have no other character trait other than loving Donald Trump. So it was not great.
A lot of big floral shirts pumping their fists.
No, not floral shirts. They were really tight, medium shirts again because TRT is just like, they're rich enough to get the Rogan TRT. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And so they're just like really like, they think they're all like alpha males, but they're like have bad hips and shit. And so they waddle a little bit like this.
Oh, I know the look. Yeah,
and then they're super beat red from the sun and the TRT.
Right.
And you could tell their heart's in large, like 6 sizes. And they just really love Trump and, you know, being in charge of their women. And it was kind of rough. It was kind of rough because I couldn't like just be in my New York bubble, right, and not be subject to any of it. I was in a very Trump.
You didn't put hands on anybody?
No, because I looked up Bahamian law. They're way more rough about assaults over there than up here. You know, up here, if the police don't want to do the paperwork, you're doing good. You're fine.
Right.
That's not a legal a tip. That is just me. But down there, man, it's international waters, man. You can't really be.
Yeah, you don't want to get locked up in.
You don't want to get locked up in the Bahamas.
Yeah,
there's no Mai Tais in there.
No.
But yeah, it was weird to see how happy they were.
Yeah, it's. I mean, well, for 4 years, maybe more than that. That group, like I remember when in 2015, when Donnie first came on the scene for real, the people that were vocal about their support were a lot quieter than this time around. This time around, it was a lot more people who were like, oh, we'll discuss politics. There were still some people who were civil and like, no, we don't discuss politics, but a lot more. I saw "Make America Great Again" hat in New York City.
Yeah, I saw one yesterday.
Yeah.
Black dude was wearing it. Just funny. But also, I didn't tell you this. So in the Bahamas, I met a Bengali guy who was a Trump voter.
That makes sense.
I definitely didn't tell you this. It does not make sense.
Why?
Because not a lot of Bengali guys are Trump voters. A lot of them went Jill Stein, which, by the way...
Slow clap?
Slow clap.
Great job, guys. You saved Gaza. The war is over. You really told Kamala Harris and the Democrats how you felt. There's gonna be, what'd you say? There's gonna be a Chili's.
There's gonna be a Chili's in Gaza.
Yeah. What's Donald Trump's gonna be there opening the first McDonald's in Gaza in about a year from now.
It's gonna be an all pork Chili's too, all ribs, just to really rub it in. Kushner Properties.
God damn. Sidebar. This might be for Patreon, but do you see the story of the back to the Bengalis?
The Bengali guy. So
we're that's going Patreon. Yeah. Now we're back to
this specific Bengali guy, and I'm gonna say a lot of things right now. So I was like, oh, why are you voting for Trump? And I dead ass, this is what this guy says. Huh?
Taxes?
No. He said that Trump will spend less money on the military and make the government more efficient. I swear to God, that's what he said. And I was like, this is why we don't have anything. You are the reason why our people suffer.
How would you even come to believe that?
I don't have, dude, I swear to God, that was his actual take. That was his actual reason. It wasn't anything else. It wasn't taxes. It was Donald Trump will make the government more efficient by spending less money on the military. If a Republican president will spend less money on the military.
If that were the case, I would have voted for the guy. But that's not happening. There's a lot of single issue voters who think military spending is a huge drain on America.
It is.
It is. But what news is this Bengali guy watching? Like, how do you have?
He worked in he had a good job. He didn't have a job that
How do you get that misinformed? I mean, kudos to the Trump campaign in getting out so many different messages to so many different people to convince them that they were on their side when in fact they are not.
Yeah.
I saw somewhere yesterday, I don't know where, but people were talking about how Trump was this election just like different Barbies. Like you had a McDonald's Trump, you had a felon Trump, you had a this Trump, you had a that Trump.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing about, people talk about Trump as a business guy, and I'm sure at some point, some part of I don't know if this was his idea, but within his campaign, what the Dems did ineffectively and what the Trump did effectively was in business. When you have a product, right, you can either try to maintain your product position, which is what the Dems did, or you can have your product and then try to nicheify it further to grow your base. And he went at every group specifically. He had a different message for every group, and every group somehow was convinced that this guy is the guy, and that's how you do it. That, like, once you have your Republican strong, you have your base, the people that are wearing the hats and yelling at Muslims. That's your core.
Yeah, the lead poisoned,
right?
Smooth brained,
right?
Limp dick, cross-eyed,
right?
Toothless.
You have that base,
yes,
and then you go after each group that you need. And you saw that happen across in the numbers, right? Like his total numbers stayed the same, but he grew in a lot of big groups. And that's because Kamala also failed to talk to all of them.
Well, the interesting thing about Democrats to me, if I'm following you with they didn't change their product thing, but is that the issue with the establishment and how things are is that dark money has come in, right? Like that's really the thing with billionaires.
Dark MAGA.
Billionaires really buy elections. They buy the media.
Okay, let me just say this about Elon. I don't know why there's so many people with a hard on for Elon Musk. The man jumps like a salmon trying to swim upstream. Have you seen this guy? Have you seen him jump on stage?
Yeah, he jumps like 2 inches off the ground.
There's like a bear chasing him in the river in Alaska.
I saw him jump like he did a full squat down, like his Super Mario jump, like to really do a big jump, and he got like 1 inch off the ground with all that effort. And I was like, man, that's like, you have all the money in the world. You get LeBron's guys.
Yeah, all that money's weighing him down. You got to understand. Anyway, back to what you were saying.
Well, the Democrats, like Biden's called out dark money and a bunch of senators and shit, and it's interesting. Like every politician still drinks from that fountain of dark money. And that's the real villains, and the real issue is that. Like, all of us can agree on that. Like, the real issue is that billionaires buy elections.
But they didn't this time. I mean, they did. They tried. But more billionaires supported Kamala than they did Elon. And that just means that the establishment as it stands,
the tariffs at the last minute, they knew what tariffs are.
I will never believe that billionaires are out for social good. They're just out to protect their own interests. And to me, if more billionaires are voting for or donating to Kamala, that signals that the establishment as it exists, the billionaire establishment as it exists, supports the establishment as it exists. And again, like, because whatever current policies are in place protect their interests. However long term that is, I don't know. I know that the instant Trump takes office, Lena Khan's job is done.
Yeah.
And there's going to be super mergers everywhere. Monopolies are going to run amok once again. And billionaires that want monopolies, their companies to become monopolies, are going to make buku money. But we're going back to billionaires coming in, the dark money coming in, and the nichification of it all. What's really interesting to me is how Trump was able to convince all these people to vote against their own interests.
Well, like you said, like this Bengali guy, like all these people, it was like choose your adventure. You saw what you wanted to see out of him.
Right.
Like if you had your own kind of set of ideals about how America should run, like this fucking idiot that Trump was going to spend less money on the military. He really, and he put in a vote for him in New York, but which, thank God, but it doesn't fucking matter. He won anyway. But like you can get what you want out of the Republicans. It's like all fantasy, which makes it impossible to ever really talk to any of these people.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, again, praise where it's due. They ran an effective campaign in that regard to convince. I did a show yesterday, private gig yesterday, right? And by the way, I voted against my own interests. I voted for Kamala. If that meant higher taxes for me, that'd be fine. All the people in my DMs like, suck it, bro. Look, you lost. I'm like, I'm doing great. I was very sad that Kamala lost, but the next morning I opened my E-Trade account and I'm like, okay, goodbye, immigrants. Good job voting against your own interests. Like, it doesn't, like, my life is fine. I'm a straight white male on paper. Like, everything will be okay for me. It's that I care about society and how it goes. And, the Department of Education should exist. But, it's not gonna much longer once Trump comes in office and all these people got convinced to vote against their own interests. Like, all you people who own the libs in Nebraska or Kansas or wherever the fuck you voted, like, you voted against yourself. Like, the perfect example is, I think we talked about this last time, about East Palestine, when the train derailed. It derailed in a predominantly Trump voting area.
Yeah.
And it derailed and had that spill specifically because of policies enacted and redacted or removed under Trump.
Yep.
That's going to happen everywhere.
Yep.
And somehow that'll get spun to be like, oh, Joe Biden's fault. No, it was this guy. Your boy Donnie T, who wants to deregulate the hell out of everything.
And those people still vote for Trump this time around? Probably.
Maybe the chemicals got to their brains and corrected some things this time, but probably not. I don't know.
No, I voted for Kamala because I don't come from, most people I know in my life don't have money.
Yeah.
And they like the world of private industry does not support people.
No.
Right? And if you're at an Amazon warehouse right now, you just voted for less piss breaks.
Yep.
And you're not going to get a pension.
I'm curious as to how, some guy on my Instagram comments, this guy D Cohen something, I don't know his full handle, but you could look him up. He's like, I used to be a fan, but your whole political angle really turned me off. I'm like, okay, peace out, Mr. Cohen. Appreciate your support over the years. You're a real sidebar. It's like crazy to think, okay, you like someone's jokes, but because you don't like what they're saying, you're gonna stop liking their jokes. Like you were never a fan of the jokes. You just thought I was aligned with your ideology.
Yeah.
But anyway, I saw before I restricted him so I didn't have to read all the comments anymore. Not blocked, by the way, just restricted. Restricted means like they're muted basically. You can't see what they say because like other people are arguing. I'm like, this is too much. He said, I'm in a union and the unions support Trump.
Yeah.
How? I don't understand it.
I mean, there. You know, it's funny. The head of the Teamsters guy. He's this dude from Boston. He's a very Boston guy, bald motherfucker with glasses. There was a video that went viral a couple of years ago in the Senate where some CEO was trying to sue the Teamsters because he didn't want unions, and he threatened to fight the guy. He was like, "I'm gonna fight you."
I remember that.
And then I would see this Teamsters guy show up at the RNC, and I'm like, "Weren't you in Congress?
Right.
Getting threatened to get hit by one of the guys in there to get rid of you?"
Right.
And like, that's the kind of shit. Like, because it's very clear that like he has to represent people in his union, and all these union guys do want Trump.
Right. But it doesn't make sense to me.
How
do you vote for a guy that wants to end unions?
Because first of all, they're not thinking that far. And if they are thinking that far, they think that once the unions are gone, that they're going to get this really good job.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe they think, or maybe they've been messaged to that he is like, what I've learned in this is that what you say goes a lot further than what you've done and what you're going to do.
Yeah, for sure.
So, like, you could just say, I'm pro-union.
Yeah.
I'll protect the unions.
Pretty sure he probably said at some point.
I'm sure I'm the most pro-union. Like, he doesn't have to do anything. He just says, I'm the most pro-union candidate. Meanwhile, he's going to deregulate all the industries that use union help. I assure you there's going to be a lot more union busting in the next 4 years than we've seen before.
Yeah, and, yep.
Right? I mean, these are just bets.
These are good. They're good bets.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If anything CEOs hate, it's minimum wage and fucking unions.
Right. Goodbye. RIP minimum wage. RIP unions. Yeah, we'll see how it plays out. But that's I think the big headline is one of the big headlines is that a lot of people voted against their own interests, and that Trump's campaign was very effective at getting out niche messages. And on the flip side of it, Kamala Ben, her campaign was just ineffective. They failed. The Democratic Party failed its constituents in hindsight, and I didn't think enough about it when they didn't run a primary. They just kind of and it's completely legal to just say Kamala's going to run.
Sure.
I was, at least not vocally, like anti-Kamala. I just was like, okay, well, this is what it has to be. She makes the most sense just from a timing perspective. But I think if they had run a primary and we had some opportunity, and
who would it be though? Gavin Newsom?
Well, Gavin Newsom dropped. They didn't want to run because I think he has 2028 ambitions, and he saw writing on the wall that Kamala was gonna be the candidate, and he wasn't gonna be able to get all of his ducks in a row quickly enough to run. He'd have to stop being governor of California, and he's still trying to correct that mess. That shit is crazy. California's a fucking shit show right now, and a lot of it is his fault. So he has to correct that to get ready for 2028. And then there was that Shapiro guy, Josh Shapiro.
No, he's Jewish. It's not gonna work.
What's that?
He's Jewish. It's not gonna work.
No. Pete Buttigieg would have been a great candidate.
He's gay.
Yeah, I mean, you.
But you're the Democratic Party.
Yeah, you need someone new, man. You need
you
need a straight white guy,
right?
That comes with this hard body message that, like, it doesn't have to make any sense, but it just has to land.
Yeah.
Also, you need a superstar.
Yeah, there's no rock star Dem right now.
Because I don't even know what is the message that would land. That it doesn't have to make sense. But I don't know what lands with these like Trump people, because nationalism, their style of nationalism will always land. Like America first, and
it convinced some people I know.
Yeah, me too.
American exceptionalism.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't.
Well, here's the
bad
thing.
for you
It's
guys.
wild. Yeah, thank you.
Here's the thing, right?
I'm sorry. I cut those people in 2016. I knew like 3 Trump voters in my world, like then my family or friends, and I was like, bye. And it's been 8 years. Fuck you. I'm really happy with that decision.
To the Trump supporters in my life, I still love you.
I don't.
We all make mistakes.
You've been cut off on his behalf by me.
It's going to be a fun Thanksgiving dinner. A lot of arguments are going to be had, I promise. But
It's a mental health tip though. Just cut them off. I feel great.
I
Not for you. I mean, I'm not saying out there.
I talk to like 3 people as it is, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but then that means your pool is like shit. Like,
No, I'm kidding. I have a rich exterior and interior life, but
me too. But it's all good.
But what was I saying?
I feel wonderful.
American exceptionalism and nationalism is a strong POV, and to that end, like again, going back to an effective Democratic campaign, the Biden camp, the Democratic camp, was unable to communicate effectively that the infrastructure bill, for example, like that was new jobs, that was bringing jobs back to America, that was an attempt, and an effective attempt at American nationalism. Like Biden wants semiconductor plants in America.
Yeah.
Like,
Nobody heard about it.
You barely.
I mean, you
moved
had
the
to
needle.
like, yeah. I mean,
You have like a poor relaying of what has been accomplished because the Dems play this fucking erudite ass. We're smart and we know what we're doing, and this guy is bad. And look, he's a this and that. You did. People are dumb. Pop songs are popular for a reason because people like very simple, digestible bullshit. And if you can't get that through their heads, it doesn't. Biden could have built a free hospital in every state of America, and a super clean power plant next to each one of those hospitals, and a free school for every one of those next to those power plants that was like the best school ever. But if he didn't tell anybody about it and it wasn't in rhyme, like, they were still going to vote for Trump. Like, people are just not listening the way they used to, and the Democratic campaign did not do a good job of communicating all that. Like, she went out, what did you say? She said on 5 podcasts?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, she went on 5 podcasts with a 4 million total view count across just YouTube. Not even like clips that get more distribution. And he went on 15 to 14 podcasts that accumulated over 125 million.
yeah, because the right wing podcasts are mostly right
But
wing.
here's the
Yeah,
thing. Here's the thing. Most podcasts that he went on, people of those podcasts invited Kamala to, especially like the big ones. But the Democratic Party.
You're picking that up.
Can't tell. I don't think so. Wait. Yeah.
I'll be right back. Oh, well, let's see. Okay. What were you saying?
I was saying that the Democratic Party just didn't understand how to package and reach the people that they wanted to reach. They needed to reach young men who live on these right-wing, what you call right-wing podcasts. That's what they listen to. That's where new age media is. They didn't strategize their voters to how to get to these people.
Right. If I assure you, if the Kamala campaign called Schultz and Akash, I was like, we want 20 minutes, 30 minutes. She called Rogan or Tim
Rogan
Dillon.
said that he
No,
would do
so
it.
even Flagrant said that they reached out.
Yeah.
But they wanted it to be. So here's the thing. Trump did a good thing where he went out and he gave time, like actual time to these people for whatever it was. Flagrant said this, Rogan said that they wanted to do it on their terms, at their turf, and with a limited time and an edit, which is like old legacy age media strategy.
Yeah.
For better or worse, But Kamala needed it to, like, she's scared that she wouldn't be able to hold the script and she'll go off script and it won't look good for her. You got to take that gamble when the other person is
all
doing
off script. Trump is all off script.
That's the thing.
You need
And they just
somebody
feed
then,
him some fascist lines, like from Stephen Miller about poisoning the blood. And he's like, oh, yeah, well, I got to say the blood thing. Right. And then he goes back into his own thing. And then he goes, oh, and then I got to call them cockroaches. And then he goes back in his own thing.
But that's the thing. It's for regular people are dumb. They don't. It's like it's entertaining. It's somebody who they think they're being talked to, not talked at. With Kamala, it's just like that same thing of Democratic Party feeling like the elitism of like, we're smarter, we'll tell you what's good, don't need to talk to me, come to me for questions, I'll give you answers.
Well,
and she just did not do a good job of talking to everybody the way Trump did. And we can dissect, like, we should dissect why each group kind of voted the way they did. But overall, from a campaign perspective, obviously Trump ran a winning one and Kamala ran a losing one. I think it was very simple. They just did a better job of speaking to the individual groups.
I mean, sure, I'll buy all of it. But what I'll say is, like, things, if history is any example, which it is, things need to get really, really, really bad.
Oh, they're gonna.
For things to ever, like, every time the world has gone super left with left-wing populism, like the New Deal, like this huge policy, civil rights movement, like shit had to get really, like the Great Depression had to happen.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and that was horrible. And then before that, like the French Revolution, like motherfuckers had to die, and like I think people had to starve. And then I think before the French Revolution, it was like Jesus Christ.
World War
II had to happen. You know what I mean? Like
World War II had to happen.
Yeah.
What happened after Nam?
Civil rights.
That was during Nam.
That was like during Nam, but like, you know, that era of like Vietnam War, Korean War.
Yeah.
That was just like bad times. And then there was a debt crisis following that. But like those weren't even as bad. Like the Great Depression was really bad.
Well, yeah, it was great.
It was very great.
It
was the biggest depression. The biggest depression. And that's what's coming to your town. And that's like, honestly, like to your point, like, yeah, I'm also good. People don't know this about me.
Right.
I'm fine.
Hold on. That's my baby. She's very upset that Trump won. Hasn't gotten over it. I'll be back.
Now that we're back, I know we won't talk about the Latino men things. We don't know that lived experience, right? But what I want to say is
that limp dick experience.
Lived experience. But what I really like to imagine is Pitbull going to the polls, you know, Mr. 305, dale. He's dancing and he's like, Trump, yes. And he just walks out. Oh, Mr. Worldwide. That's who you guys got. Nice.
Bad Bunny. ¿Qué pasa, man?
Well, Bad Bunny came out for Kamala.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
After Tony Hinchcliffe called his country a garbage island.
A pile of garbage.
A pile of garbage in the sea.
Yeah. But what, I mean, is Bad Bunny didn't sway anybody? Even Bad Bunny didn't sway anybody?
I don't know who's Bad Bunny's demo.
Every Latin person in America.
Nah, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Everyone loves Bad Bunny, dude.
Everybody does, but I don't
People
think
love him, but I don't know if
Benito. I remember I sat behind him at the Knicks game.
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah, that shit was crazy.
But I was, I think it's kind of like K-pop where people don't really understand shit about it, but they just like the way it sounds.
Yeah.
I
want to go to a Bad Bunny concert, but I think I think Amy would kick my ass.
Why?
Just be hot women everywhere. I had to wear sunglasses. Just
like
all right. 6 p.m. Just stay laser focused.
That'll be a good use case for those Facebook glasses. Just take pictures of the booties while you look straight.
Right.
Just feed me
them later.
Booty vision. Yeah. Yes. C35G was quite.
Shout out Bad Bunny, man. Benito, you're welcome to join the podcast.
Yeah,
at any
please.
point. Yeah, man.
Please come here, and we'll also get Tony Hinchcliffe on.
Yeah, I'll learn Spanish for you.
Sí.
Claro que sí. Bad Bunny, Benito. Es muy bueno. Sorry, man. My apologies. That should go on the Patreon. just that Spanish part. All right, what were we saying? All right, now let's get into each group, each demo, how they voted. Well, as I was saying, I did a private gig last night. Bunch of Indian people, tech guys.
Old or young?
50s.
Okay, so
60s.
uncle class.
Uncle class. I said, happy birthday to you. I'm happy to be here, although this does look like a Hindus for Trump rally. And half the people cheered. Like, oh, yeah, we fucking love Trump. And there's a guy up front, Pakistani guy, looked exactly like the Jaguars owner. And I was like,
who is also a Trump supporter.
Also a crazy Trump supporter. And I asked him, I was like, who'd you vote for? And he said, Trump. I was like, how old are you? He's like, 60. Where are you from? Pakistan. I was like, all right, I hope he deports you first. Because if Stephen Miller's plane comes in action, peace out, Sarthik. Peace out to a lot of people that got naturalized.
Yeah, denaturalization is not a word you want to hear, Uncle.
Right.
You know?
You think, I don't know how realistic that is in terms of it happening. And clearly a lot of immigrants don't believe that it's going to happen either.
Well, nobody hates immigrants more than an immigrant who's made it.
Right.
Yeah.
So as long as I think going forward, it'll be easier for the Republicans to do. Like, it'll be way harder to become an American citizen. There'll be less H-1Bs for sure.
Yep.
If any, H-1Bs is an easy thing for them to get rid of.
Right.
So, the tech companies might get fucked.
I mean, it's interesting because the reason the H-1B program exists is because there's not enough educated Americans to fill those jobs. And now, if the H-1B program ends, which is highly speculative, who knows if that's going to end.
Probably, though.
Maybe, because
it'll be very restricted.
Stephen Miller, the thing is, Stephen Miller's very open about
Oh, is he?
Oh, yeah.
Is he going to definitely be in the cabinet?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So if it ends, when it ends, people think right away, okay, now the whites that those Indian jobs got taken by, those Indian people took those white jobs. Now the whites that were supposed to have those jobs are going to fill those jobs. No, man, you can't just fill an engineering job. You got to study engineering. But guess what? That's also going to be harder because they're going to cut the DEA or the Department of Education.
DOE.
Good luck. Good job. Again, such short-sighted thinking. Getting away from it. Immigrants, hating immigrants. Now, the immigrants that are here are like, yeah, we fucking made it. No more access for anybody else.
Yeah, I think a lot of Indian people and Desi people and South Asian people in general, if you look at the state of affairs over there, it's not good.
No.
It's a very unequal society.
Yeah, that's why they came here.
But they don't understand that. They came here because they look at living life like a game, purely a game, where it's like, this game I'm going to win. I can't win it here. I'm going to win it here. And as soon as I win it, it's just playing a game. I'm going to shut the door behind me. And that's all it is.
Ladder pulling.
Yeah.
It's not even just the Indians, though. I can't really speak to the Latino men vote, but I did see.
That's because you don't speak Spanish.
Yeah.
I saw clips of guys, Latino men talking about, no more immigrants. But he's like, well, you made it, so yeah, no more. He's like, yeah, I'm here, I'm good, but no more.
Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of it also becomes, and maybe again, this is a speculation, because I obviously don't know, but I wonder how much of it is, okay, I'm an immigrant, I'm an Indian or South Asian or Latin person. Now these lower class immigrants are coming here and making everyone think I'm like them.
Yeah.
So instead of hating the people that make you think negatively about your own people, you hate your own people.
Yeah, the KKK votes Republican.
Right.
And so do the Nazis.
Mm-hmm.
So but I don't, it's not a shock to me that the uncles are like this.
Uh-huh.
It makes perfect sense to me.
Uh-huh. But more Indian guys under the age of 40 shifted towards Trump.
Yeah, because we had to grow up with the racism.
Uh-huh.
Our parents, I'll speak for my parents, were totally, even though they'd experienced racism, they didn't internalize it like we did growing up.
Uh-huh.
Because they're just they're foreigners. They didn't have that. They were they didn't have to grow up with other people other than the people who look like them. So they didn't really have to, they're past the trauma age.
Well, yeah, when they got here, they experienced racism, but they're like, yeah, we're foreigners in a different country.
Yeah, and it doesn't hit you.
Territory.
Yeah, when you're 30, it hits you different than when you're 9.
Mm-hmm. Right.
you know, and so that's why like a lot of young Desi South Asian people are liberal. It's like we had to put up with this shit.
Yeah, but what I was saying is that there was a stat that the Indian American male demographic under 40 shifted right wing more than voted in that direction. And I think it's because less of us experience that kind of hardcore racism.
Probably.
I think our parents experienced more racism than we did, for sure. More obvious on the surface in their face racism than we did. And because of that, the Indian guy is like, racism is fuck racism. That's not a real thing. What I care about is masculinity and taxes. And that's why I'm voting this way.
I will say that.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was just going to say, and they're also probably there's no small part of them that is also somewhat sexist.
Well, I think they're part of, I agree, but also like most of them are doing well. So like
a lot of them are doing well.
America's worked out for them and they just kind of they're going to be unaffected to an extent by like Republican policies unless the economy craters, which going to affect everybody.
Right. That's
the real fear if you're a quote unquote smart person. But the other piece of it is like a lot of Desi people live in a bubble and they only like what you see is all there is. Like they don't really interact with other races. Like if you're a doctor, like you kind of have the same job every year of your life until you're dead. Like your job doesn't change. And like you just do like family stuff. Your friends are all Desi. Like you're kind of in like this very privileged bubble. And so like the consequences for you to be more civic minded, you know, there's no reason for you to be that way. So like, it's almost expecting too much from them based on having like a liberal American education for them to like want to be more civic minded. Like I don't give a shit. Like they just like every weekend, week out, it's the same life.
But what do you say to what about the non-doctor or software lawyer or whatever Indian? What about the gas station Indian this gas station Indian got in my DMs talking shit to me?
Well, the owners of the gas stations, because they make money. That's a money move for them.
Yeah, I mean, no, he was he got this name is and I'll shout him out. Shout out who was in my DMs talking a lot of shit. He's from I looked him up. Runs five. Runs 5 BPs. I'm sure.
He's rich. That makes sense. He's rich.
And he got mad because I called a bunch of Trump voters bitch. I called the people who were in my DMs mad that I said people who are voting for Trump seem gay for Trump.
Yeah.
Just like.
Yeah, there is something very homoerotic.
Yeah. And he got him out, and some lady wrote. As a gay woman, I've never experienced any kind of hate from the Republican side. It's all come from the Dems. Make it make sense. I was like, it makes sense because you're lying.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Like, that's a Russian bot. That's a Russian bot.
If you're a gay white woman, probably nothing bad has happened to you that wasn't of your own doing. And if some Dems said some shit to you, it's because you were probably in their face talking about who the fuck knows. And so I said that. I made the mistake of responding to a comment that was probably a bot, the bots are like super effective these days.
Yeah.
And this guy called me a hypocrite for responding to her. And I was like, I'm not being a hypocrite. I don't think you know what the word hypocrite means.
Yeah.
I was fully aligned. It's just people are bitch asses if you can't take a joke. And he's like, I'm not a bitch ass, you're a bitch ass.
I own 5 BPs in the area. How dare you?
My nerves were frayed because like my baby was crying like in the morning. So I was just going back and forth with this guy. I was like, yo, bring that same energy if you see me. Like, why do you follow me? First of all, like, how are you going to follow somebody and then get in their DMs trying to talk shit? And I think people think like I'm not going to respond. And I don't most of the time, but if you catch me on a bad morning, like I'll talk some shit back to you. and I just kept calling him a dick rider. I was like, you are a Trump dick rider. pull his LinkedIn
So many
profile.
bleeps. No, we can't do that.
Pull his fucking LinkedIn profile.
No, we can't dox this guy. We're gonna get.
Bro, like if you're gonna, first of all, if you're gonna talk shit, don't make your avatar the same as your LinkedIn picture. All right, and don't have a public LinkedIn profile, and don't put your location in your like profile. Like it's so easy to figure out who the fuck you are and where you are. And I looked up, like, okay, this guy is from. He runs 5 BPs. I looked up the BP that he was probably at. I was like, oh, should I just call this motherfucker? Like, hey, how you doing? Who's a bitch ass now? And what was I say? Like, what do you say to that guy? What do you say to that guy?
Nothing. That guy is gone. Like, that's the thing. Though that guy is too far gone. A gas station owner guy is too far gone. Because he just wants like to make a ton of money, and then he hires like a carousel of newer immigrants in to work like minimum wage or less in shitty conditions, and that's what they do.
Right.
Like,
but that guy's pro-Trump.
Yeah, that makes sense. You'll never convince that guy to be kind, or empathetic,
right?
And then the engineer types, back to what your question was, the engineer types that have no emotional intelligence,
right?
So they don't understand like hardship. They're like, oh, but the data says that the GDP is up, and it's like, well, the data says you're a fucking idiot too, but it's not. You know what I mean? Like, they just don't have it's just like not. It's an emotional intelligence thing, which can be said for a lot of Trump people, but specifically for those types, because again, like you grow up and your parents are like, just become a doctor and engineer and make money, and that is the entire set of ethics you get, right? Really, for most people, not everybody, but for most people. So like, it's on you to get to become well-rounded, and they're not. That's really all it is. It's not like this man from the state is giving money to charity. You think that guy's ever given $1 to anybody in charity?
Who's that?
This guy you're talking about that in your DMs?
Oh.
Yeah. This man is not, or this person, let's not dox anybody, is he's not like a civic. He's not giving charity money.
No.
He probably goes to GoFundMe and laughs.
I look at these broke bitches. Oh, you got in a car crash?
Oh, you got bone marrow cancer? Oh, man. Oh,
he was talking. What did he say? I said to him, I was like, listen, man, I'm doing fine. My stock is up. Why are you get out of my DMs? He's like, why do you think that is, dumbass? I'm like, it's not a good thing when every billionaire starts jerking off if someone wins.
Yeah.
Like Jamie Dimon jerked off that morning. The guy that runs JP Morgan.
Yeah, and that's the first time he's come in 20 years.
Yeah, and that guy does not care about you. Oh. Anyway. Okay, so I feel like we understand why South Asian guys went towards Kamala.
Yeah,
I think we have a loose understanding as to why. I mean, one of my cousins voted for him.
You mean Trump? You said
for Trump, yeah. Sorry, I think one of my cousins voted for him. Super smart guy, physician, and again, one of these like data-driven guys.
Yeah, okay.
And
I've heard some of these arguments.
Boy, I argued with him. I was like, bro, like, and now we can transition into why women did not vote for Kamala. But he voted for Trump because he thinks Trump will. One of the reasons is, he believes in American exceptionalism, but I was like, what about the women in your life? And he's like, I think the world will be safer for women with Trump in office. I'm like, how can you possibly believe that a would be better as a president for women than
a woman?
and I guess who better to prevent than, Like who?
I don't think it works that way.
Who knows the mindset of more than?
I don't think
we're gonna have to bleep that so many times.
Yeah,
just
that word's gotta get bleeped.
Yeah. All right, so women.
Oh, women. Oh, ladies.
Women voted.
What have you done?
Women voted.
Was white women.
White women voted predominantly, once again, for the Republican candidate. I don't know, predominantly more women voted for, white women voted for Kamala this time? Or what is this chart?
That's the breakdown of Who voted where?
So 69% of white women voted for Trump? That can't be right.
Wait, say that again. Sorry.
What was the percentage of white women that voted for Trump?
Or women in general. There's no way Trump got the majority of the women vote. Is there?
I don't know. I know white women he did.
Yeah, just no.
Oh, that's just wait.
Click the one right above it. Yeah.
Women by race.
Yeah, go for it. White women.
Whew. So no numbers though.
More Trump voters were white, a trend that continues. What the fuck is this chart? Who made that?
That's a terrible chart.
I guess more here. Age, race, education. Yeah, this sucks.
Jesus Christ, AP News. Who was doing your graphics, bro? This is so fucking dumb.
It's data driven right there, guys.
No, go. Nope, this is not it. This is like number of women in U.S. Congress. Keep going. There.
The Guardian. Let's see if they got something.
Women voted for the Democratic candidate, but by smaller margin. Women did indeed show up to support Kamala, but in smaller numbers. Hillary won by women by 13 points, Biden by 15, Harris by just 10. White women are still voting for the Republican candidate. Although women as a whole have historically voted for Democrats, white women have not. Instead, over the last 72 years, a plurality of white women have voted for the Democratic candidate only twice. Trump did better with young women than he did in 2020.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Number 5 is the most important thing. Black women are the most reliable Democratic voters. Because black women see through the bullshit.
Yeah.
They see through the bullshit the best. And they're like, yeah, this guy, old white man who's in pictures with Diddy and Epstein. There's a Venn diagram of people who have pictures with Diddy and Epstein. There's very few people in the intersection of that Venn diagram.
Yeah, that were at a freak off and that weird Egyptian hut on the island.
Say what you want about Donnie. He is an equal opportunity molester, okay? He'll go to the Diddy parties. He'll go to the Epstein parties. He's molesting everybody. Black women see through that bullshit the most. I think white women in Trump see like a daddy. Or like the molesting uncle.
Religion too. The pro-life stuff is pretty strong, man. Like,
yeah, I guess
a lot of these Midwestern women are just like super, like, rock, flag, and eagle in Christ. That's their whole thing.
But in a lot of those places,
trad wives and shit.
In a lot of those places, abortion was on the ballot separately as like a proposition. So they voted to protect abortion, but still voted for Trump. And again, that goes to the effective messaging of it all. Like, Trump made it a states' right issue and made it such that in certain states you can get abortions, certain states you can't. And women were, for whatever reason, convinced of that. And I don't want to be a Dane Cook repeater, but women hate women.
Yeah. Classic 90s, early 2000s comedy premise.
But like speak against that. Like, this is proof positive that that's the case.
I mean, this is proof that the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants is bullshit.
Yeah. They don't give a fuck.
They don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
But to the women that did not vote for Trump, best of luck in the 4B movement. You know what the 4B movement is?
No.
It's this feminist movement from Korea. Shout out to the white women. Once again, culture appropriating Korean culture. The 4B movement is this feminist movement that started in Korea. The 4Bs are in Korean. It's like, no Bishon, no, I don't know, I'll butcher
Are you
it.
about to speak Korean right now?
No.
Holy shit. When did this happen?
No banchan, no bichon,
Oh,
no
man.
dim sum. No, it's
That's racist.
It's they refuse to get married, have sex, or have children with cisgender men or transgender women.
What?
And it's like how did
the trans people get pulled into that?
Because transgender women are men.
Well,
whoa,
bro.
Whoa.
What am I supposed to say?
Transgender women are women, sir.
No, but then why would they?
I don't know.
No,
Yes, the
that-
Korean.
no,
We need
that-
to get a
no,
Korean
that-
lady
no,
on here.
Yes,
were, man.
There you go. Yeah.
I don't know. Listen, I think that actually, you know what? This hits on the turf stuff is probably a lot of white women are turfs.
What's turf?
Like, this thing that Dave Chappelle is, like hating, that believing that women are women. J.K. Rowling and Dave Chappelle.
Mm-hmm.
Dave Chappelle called himself a turf at one of his specials. And
Well, what does that stand for?
It's something radical feminists. Sorry, I was about to look it up. What is a turf? TERF.
Nice, dude.
I mean,
A person whose views.
derogatory. A person whose views on gender identity are considered hostile to transgender people who opposes social and political policies designed to be inclusive of transgender people. I am not that. Just because I misspoke 3 minutes ago. The math wasn't mathing when I read that description of what 4B meant. But now that I understand it, my bad. But that movement is coming here.
I mean, that's going to be more shootings now.
Yeah. Yeah. The higher 4B goes up, the more white women that stop fucking dudes.
Well, not white women.
Or women?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like white women are they voted for Trump, so they at some level are with the
School
majority.
shooters.
Yeah,
Maybe they'll make up for it. Maybe they'll start banging more.
Have you seen these guys that shoot up schools? They're very unbangable.
You're right.
They're very unbangable. Holy shit. It's the acne and the
And just wait till RFK cuts the fluoride out of the water. The teeth are going to start falling out. There's going to be a lot more. A lot more ugly kids not getting banged. This 4B movement's going to, oh, man.
rifle sales through the roof.
Shit, dude.
we're fucked.
Things are getting bad.
Yeah, well, this is what the people want, guys. This is the world they want to live in. And we just got to live with it in them. That's why I cut them off. I feel great. I
think we were right 2 weeks ago when we were wearing all black.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's
funeral for the country.
It's bad. There's going to be some crazy depression. These tariffs are going to, and then, at least the joy you get out of it is that you get to laugh at these people.
I'm not going to be laughing. I think I will not have much Schadenfreude about all of it.
I will. I promise you. I promise you this, America. I will laugh in your face, directly in your face.
Interest rates are going to go up.
Yeah.
Because Jerome Powell knows that these tariffs are going to cause inflation and interest rates are going to go up. It's going to be a lot harder to buy a house. You think it's going to be easier? No, you're wrong. These are my predictions.
And when unions get busted, it's not just going to be Latin people in front of Home Depots looking for work. It's going to be all these union people. And I'm going to show up and high five all of you.
Yeah, I'll give you guys jobs. I'll find some shit to spaz.
Yeah, rake some leaves in my backyard.
Yeah.
Remember being the local 342 or whatever the fuck you were in when
Now
you had a pension?
Now you work for the son of an immigrant.
Oh man,
that's the. I'm gonna try to avoid that.
But they all laugh at us. That's the thing about even in 2016, like when Sarah even before that, when Sarah Palin was like, "We don't retreat, we reload." I was like, "Bitch, excuse me?
We don't retreat. We what?
We reload." I'm like, "You gonna shoot me?"
Right.
And everybody just kind of like, "Oh, she's just saying that." I'm like, if someone said that to me on the street, I'd be like, "Excuse, like, you trying to go right now?"
Right.
Like, but that their rhetoric is all like, "I'm gonna fight you, I'm gonna take you down," and all this like pro wrestling shit. And like everybody else is kind of like, "You're not allowed to laugh at them." I'm gonna laugh at them all the way down.
I know.
When Bezos says like you have your piss jar has to be like less than 30 milliliters, and you can only use it like once a day, I'm gonna laugh.
Yeah, I mean, I will try not to.
I will.
I'm trying. I'm
Believe
trying to.
that.
I'm going to try to maintain my sense of sympathy and empathy. It's going to be hard. Don't get me wrong, but I really hope. I hope things turn out better than they seem they're going to, but I don't think they are. I hope they do though. So all we have left is.
We don't have free speech. Then we.
Who doesn't have free speech? Jesus Christ. All right, listen, we're going to go to Patreon because I don't have free speech right now.
I don't have free speech.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Okay, listen. Parting thoughts before we switch over to Patreon and say how we really feel?
My parting thought in all of this is that you're never going to convince someone who falls into the trap of right-wing populism otherwise. And what you should do with your time is to try to get more people like you to be more action oriented. You know what I mean? Like, just if you're really feeling dread, like a lot of people do right now, like focus on the people that you fuck with and you like and you respect, like, and then like go out and do something, like act.
Yeah, go ahead and ruin Thanksgiving.
Sure, or just
talk some shit.
Or don't go to Thanksgiving and have your own Thanksgiving, or I don't know. Like, it's just, you know, like you gotta, or just don't engage those people on this topic because you're never gonna win, and it's a waste of your time, your energy. There's a lot of good Western philosophy from the 19th century if you want to read Immanuel Kant and really just be erudite, but that shit doesn't work. We know being smart doesn't work. Just ignore them. Focus on the people that you know you can trust and rely on. Build those bridges and try to help your community and shit, and just try to be a good person, and then let all these people addicted to social media and all this shit, because it's to stop. You are what you pay attention to.
That's a good parting thought. My parting thought is I'll be in New Brunswick, New Jersey, December 19th to the 21st. Talking a lot of shit. It's going to be a wild 4 years. If you need to laugh, I'm here for you. If you need to cry,
I'm here for you.
I hope things go well. I don't know how they're going to go, but we're going to switch over to Patreon and talk some more shit. Make fun of some of these clips because goddamn, look at this. Well, when do you get this skin fade? Thank you for listening.
Yeah, Rogan posted this yesterday. It's like a fucking 4-minute thing.